Do you ever have times in your life when you actually see the results of your personal growth, the real results of something that you've been working on? I had that very thing happen on our little getaway we just had. Since I'm big on mind shift now, as I've entered what I call my Zen time of my life phase, in my 60s, I saw a different me and I liked it. So let me tell you the ups and downs of our time away as I sat on the deck writing in my journal. First off, the online photos of our, shall I say, cozy rustic cottage were a bit deceiving, but I wasn't surprised, and that was my first indication of the Zen me. I just shrugged and said, well, the view is nice out that way. I thought we had a lake view out the window, but instead we had a close-up of a pine tree, which was lovely as well, as the days were breezy and I do enjoy watching the movement and the birds. Now, the cottages were a bit close for my liking as an introvert, but I also enjoyed watching the hummingbirds at their feeder. So that was another new Zen me. The old me would have been grumbling. Now, inside, the number of flies would have given the upstairs room of the Amityville Horror House a run for their money. I think I swatted flies most of the first day. But again, the new Zen me said, thank God they aren't mosquitoes. And on the table inside was a typical laminated note of do's and don'ts while at the cottage. That's all good. Things like where to put your garbage and your recycling, that kind of thing. But in red highlighted letters was the message letting us know that there had been a bear in the cottage area lately. So don't leave food outside or in the screened-in porch. Seems this bear has a sweet tooth and had helped himself to a bag of cookies one night in someone's screened-in porch. That's slightly terrifying. Okay, check. Bring in any empty beer cans. Last thing we need is a drunken bear staggering around in the night. Now, the kitchen was hilarious too. That's the new Zen me talking again. I'm only 5 foot tall, and the sink, and I kid you not, the 1.5 foot of counter space came up to my knees. Okay, slight exaggeration on that last part. My back hurt from bending over to do the dishes every night. I came out of the kitchen laughing, and dude says, what's so funny? I said, go stand by the sink. Dude is 6 foot tall. He goes in, stands by the sink, then turns around, and now we're both having a knee-slapping laugh. At this point, we're both thinking, can we handle 3 nights away? Loud neighbors, lumpy bed, that kind of thing. Oh, and spotty Wi-Fi if you want to sit up at the lodge and hope for the best. The old me would have packed up and walked home. The new me said, we can stick it out. It's only 3 nights. So the new Zen me sits here, writing outside, listening to the crickets, watching the chickadees and the nuthatches up close in the pine tree just off the deck. The guys are out fishing for the day. We came up with friends from Dude's work. I get my precious alone time that I love and need. I can gaze out at the water, watch the reflections of the trees in the water across the river. The odd fish jumps every once in a while, and I just had a visit from a chipmunk. All the while ignoring the noise coming from the marina. Again, new Zen me. Later on, I'll read and color. I brought a bag of things to do to keep busy. I'll wander up the road and take photos as well. I'll grab something to eat and relax with a beverage on the deck and say cheers to Mother Nature. And I'll be grateful for not choking on one of those flies in the night as I sleep with my mouth hanging open while I snore. I truly made lemonade out of lemons on this trip. It's actually very empowering to finally realize I've made progress on my personal growth journey. It's all about mindset and turning a negative into a positive. I like the new Zen me. She's so much easier to live with. That's it for this week. As always, remember, you are enough and you always have been. Until next time, thanks for being here.